Anyway, they got back from their year of circling North America. Meanwhile, David, my brother, younger brother, had gone and taken a job with North Safety, selling safety equipment for on job sites, harnesses and steel-toe boots and flame-resistant clothing and that sort of thing. And so David was doing that, and David had married, and they were living in Cochrane, in a house in Cochrane, and so they got home from this trip around North America by motorhome, and David wasn't all that happy with this job with North Safety. It was primarily, I think, because it involved so much travel. David was traveling all over North America with this North Safety. So anyway, make a long story short, which for me is not always possible. But anyway, David talked Dad into, because he was retired, but he had no hobbies. He didn't golf like I'm a golf nut. I spend my time, but Dad didn't, and he'd had it with this traveling business. So David talked him into buying a warehouse in Cochrane, a bay. They put a great big walk-in freezer in it, and he bought some white vans with refrigerated vans, and he put Gibson Food Services on the back of them, on the side of them, and he and David and Mum went into a fast food business, and they trucked all over southern Alberta. They trucked to all the truck stops and convenience stores, and they set up a donut making setup in the warehouse, and they sold Pride and Quality sandwiches, pizza subs and all that stuff, to all the truck stops, and they had routes going up to Banff and Lake Louise and down to Lethbridge and out to Drumheller and all. So David would take off in one van, and Dad and Mum in the other van, and they'd deliver these food all over. And they made donuts, and they'd had boxes of donuts, and they did that for several years, 3, 4, 5 years anyway. Gibson Food Services.
I remember seeing the vans.
Yeah.
And of course, they're still living at Jameson at the time.
They were still living at Jameson, so they were on the road all the time. I used to really get a kick out of it. They'd also bring their food into schools, So I was principal at Acme at the time, and I was there 12, 13 years. And so David or Dad would show up a couple times a week, and they'd bring in, and out of our lunchroom, we'd sell all these sandwiches and donuts. Well, the staff loved it because they'd bring in their boxes of donuts that were several days old, and they'd just plunk them down on the staff room table. So the staff had donuts to eat all week long. It didn't matter to them that they were a few days old. They were the ones they couldn't leave in the truck stops and the convenience stores. So anyway, they ran Gibson Food Services for several years, and then that was health problems again. Dad passed away at 69 from congestive heart failure, and he died. He passed away in 1995 at age 69 from congestive heart failure, and so just prior to these health concerns really developing, they sold Gibson Food Services to a chap over in Airdrie who ran it for several years after that. I don't know what's become of it, whether it's still happening now or not. I doubt whether it is, but anyway, he ran it. I still saw for several years afterwards Gibson food trucks running around the different parts of the province. But so David, Mom and Dad sold the Gibson Food Services, and he leased out the warehouse in Cochrane to different outfits, and David came back home to up Jameson Road and bought a bunch of road building equipment and a Hitachi track hoe and stuff, and went into that business. He started doing all kinds of work in the area for local ranchers and farmers and stuff.